Because of this, I've noticed one thing. I really want my games on Game Pass.
Hi, I'm Ghost from ghostmusic.com, and you're listening to The Dev Room. But first, let's hear from our sponsors.
So, over the last couple weeks, I would say like months, I've been thinking about something, and it's basically been on my mind a lot. And by when I mean a lot, I really do mean a lot. So, if you guys didn't know, I play so much Game Pass on my Xbox. And one thing that I've actually noticed, and again, I don't know if not anybody else has noticed this, but it seems like Xbox gives a big highlight to indie developers. And because of this, I've noticed one thing. I really want my games on Game Pass. It seems that the more that I play Game Pass, the more I start to actually fall in love with indie games. That's something that I've never in my life ever really been a huge part of the way that I play. Um, yeah, I know. Indie developer doesn't really play indie games. And for the most part, I don't. I traditionally stay more towards the AAA space. Um, More of the first party, sometimes third party. I dip my toes into it depending on what it is. It's a first person shooter, probably not me. But to be honest, I've just been noticing that I've been playing a lot more indie games, and especially in genres that I primarily don't play in. Roguelikes, that's something that I've never really gotten into. I've played a couple of them, like The Binding of Isaac, and I really don't. I don't want to say that, but I really don't really enjoy that game. It's fun. I own it for the Vita. I own it for another couple of my video game consoles, but for the most part, I've really never had fun with it. I try my best and my might, and yeah, I think the closest that I've ever come to a roguelike that I've actually enjoyed is Don't Starve. I don't know if that's a roguelike or not, but to me, it kind of fits kind of the same criteria. Um, More of a survival game than roguelike, but that's about it. But like I said, I've been finding more and more that I've been playing indie games and actually supporting the indie games because once they try to pull them off of Game Pass, I'm more than likely actually going to purchase that indie game, and then I end up buying DLC for that indie game, and then I'll play it. I'll try to 100% it, fail terribly, but I end up more involved in the indie scene than I would like to admit. Besides trying to make games, but because of Game Pass, it seemed that um it has opened me up to actually being able to play these games and enjoy my time with these games. And because of it, it seems like I'm more likely and willing to support developers. And I think this is, I have no numbers. I don't have any way of backing these numbers up, but I am a cheapskate. As much as I don't want to admit that, but I am. I generally don't like spending money if I don't have to. Yes, I try to spend money on things that improve our setup, but for the most part, I generally do not like spending money. And it seems that Game Pass has broken me. And I think that it has done that to majority of people that actually own Xbox. Um, Being able to play set indie games and then getting a discount on the indie games while they're still up there, or even just games in general. And I think that Game Pass is starting. It's not there yet, but I feel that it's starting to be a new indie game renaissance. Like, think about it. You basically have unlimited access to these games as long as they're on Game Pass. And You can play them as long as you want. You can take as much time as you need while they're still on there, and you can do whatever you possibly need to do to play the game. You can buy the DLC if you don't like it, and whatever, you wasted maybe $5. And if you do like it, hey, you get 30% off or 35% off, and then you get to play it for life. And you found X amount of hours of enjoyment from these said games. And I think that putting your game on Game Pass will open more people's eyes to what you create, and they'll actually have more eyes on your studio and any future projects that you do make. Um, Prime example for me is a game called Guacamelee. I don't know, it was one of the most popular indie games, and I fell in love with it because I like that Metroidvania sort of gameplay. And yes, I played it way before Game Pass, but I owned it for the PlayStation. When it came back and they actually put it on Game Pass, you can bet your bottom dollar I bought that game. I bought it. I bought the Super Champion Turbo Edition, and then I saw, because I didn't know that there was a Guacamelee too. Maybe I am in the minority because again I don't really pay attention to indie games, but there was two. I beat one. I beat it again on Game Pass. I bought two, and guess who bought all the DLC and everything else that goes with it? I don't want to admit it, but I did. And look at us here. Now I own Guacamelee 1, 2 again for my Xbox, and I'm having more fun playing the games again. And I think that out of everything, I really do think that Game Pass has the potential to open more people's eyes to the games and being able to purchase games. I know this all sounds long winded, but I do want to give examples. I just don't want to string you along and be like, hey, well, I think this, and have no receipts. To be honest, I want to give as many receipts as possible. Still not the best at giving these receipts, but you see the point. But with that one, I would love to hear what you guys think about Game Pass and being the new indie games renaissance, as I have put it. I want to know if you're getting ready to release a game and if you're thinking about putting it on Game Pass, because I know from firsthand that if you release a game on ID at Xbox, they do allow you to publish it to Game Pass. And what do you feel Game Pass can do to improve as a service to allow you to put your game on Game Pass? And with that one, I'll see you guys the next one. Peace.